Okay, let's call to order the Fire District Board meeting of September 16th. Will you all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have the roll call, please.
Albert?
Yeah, here.
Beckman?
Here.
Fox?
Yes.
Sifley?
Here.
Phelps?
Here.
Holland?
Here.
North?
Here. Okay, would you all please silence your cell phones? Please do not text during the meeting. Could we have an approval of the agenda, please?
Make the motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Madam
Any
Chair.
discussion? Oh, go ahead, Craig.
With the board's approval, can I just add on 4 short things under chief comments? I think it would be worthwhile to share.
All right, and all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, approval of the minutes. We had a little discussion, a little problem with minutes last month. I know I wasn't here, but the minutes from the closed session were approved, but nobody ever saw the minutes of the closed session, so I'm not exactly sure how you could approve them. So I think we're going to have to go back and approve the minutes of the closed session. You've all seen them now.
I know it's my fault.
No, it's fine, it's just kind of funny that that would happen, and we do have to redo that. And then the minutes of the current session, Stacy, you're good. You were here and not here last month,
I was
which
everywhere.
that's kind of interesting. I don't know how you do that.
She's quick. She didn't get paid, I can
My
tell you that.
doppelganger.
I didn't? Oh. So we need
Says right here.
Should we make a motion to approve the minutes with the said corrections?
Yes, is that all the corrections we have? Just a minute.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Beckman and a second by Fox to approve the minutes with the corrections. All those, is there any more discussion?
Yes. It says, regular meeting as corrected, reflecting North being absent when she was.
That was a week before, that was a month before, yeah.
But it's in these minutes.
But the sentence doesn't make sense, reflecting North being absent when she was.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
It's the same thing with Stacy, I think it happened the month before, right, Chris?
Correct, yes.
She said you was present and absent.
Well, I was here, but
Well,
I left early.
That's right.
Right, it was the motion, it was the motion at the end of the meeting that you, for Chief's, performance review, that you weren't here for the motion part, and you had me corrected.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, we're going to redo the July 15th closed session. All those in favor of approving the minutes of the July 15th closed session, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think that,
Should we pull the motion on that to begin with? Before we approve it again, or just?
I don't know, this is kind of fun. Something I haven't ever done before.
Should we approve it without reading it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Should
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 15 closed session
Yes, I think so.
meeting?
Yeah.
Which we just did, didn't we?
No,
We
just-
approved them,
we just said yes,
you
but
need
there's
to,
no-
you need to take them out of
we need to
the...
We approved the minutes, but with a correction, but we didn't approve the closed session minutes.
Yeah, we did.
We did, that's the problem, we approved them without reading them.
So that needs to be rescinded or
Yeah.
whatever, and do a revote on it.
Sorry, I typed in the original one, maybe I misunderstood you, that correcting Stacy and then removing the approval of the closed session minutes as they had not been distributed yet. So when you, sorry, that's what I thought you were trying to get at.
Yes, I was.
Yep. So that was how you approved the minutes, was correcting them and removing that entire line item, I
Okay.
thought, was my understanding.
Okay.
So,
Right.
but then we just need a motion, there's no motion or second been made to approve the closed session minutes yet, though. You voted without
And
a
I
motion
just
or a
made
second.
Oh.
I'll make a motion to approve the closed session meeting of July 15th.
All right. All right, so Beckman made the motion, Fox made the second. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 I think it's fixed now.
Sorry.
Okay. Moving on. Is there any public comment about the fee calendar? Mr. Beth, do you have any public comment?
No, ma'am.
Thank- I don't know what your new title is now. It goes all across the shirt. Moving on. We have a request for payment of the accounts payable.
I'll make a motion to accept pay the accounts payable $160,252.56.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Okay. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
South,
Yes.
Holland,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Verplank,
Yes.
North.
Yes. We have a financial report. Yes, Bill.
Okay, on the revenue side, there wasn't a lot, only just shy of 22,000. It was basically some inspection, plan review fees, few grants and donations and interest. Overall, I don't see anything. We're now 25% through the current fiscal budget, and the only high-ticket numbers is like the general insurance, we pay that quarterly, and then technology, and we bought most of the computer stuff here in July and August. And the workers' comp insurance, that's the 20, I think that was the first quarterly payment there, so. Everything else, I mean, we're only spent 14% of the budget that was approved so far through today, the bills were just approved. I don't know if anybody has any particular line item questions, or,
Insurance was at $22,000.
yeah, that was the workers' comp insurance. It was part of the quarterly payment and part of the audit. We audited last year's workers' comp, and we had paid some more carryover from last year.
Okay, no questions? All right, we can move on to fire chief comments.
Okay, we'll get the stats up on the screen if we can, when you have a chance. We also have hard copies on each table. So notable, 7 out of 8 months historic levels for the fire department for the first time. You ended up with 133 calls. I think we've shared that before. You're up about 22%. Wendy did a call volume comparison to date as of today, and we're up about 22%. 699 calls last year, 853 today. So pretty significant. Understandably, response times dropped a bit. The roundabout is doing its job, so we'll pick up some speed negotiating the roundabout. More on that later on. Overlapping calls in August, 40%. It's pretty high, which means 40% of the time, we're sure we're going to have 2 calls at one time. Last but not least, notable motor vehicle incidents, 49, about 20% up from last year. So, not surprising. I think we had some really good weather. And I think tourism has been thriving. So nothing else on EMS fire reports unless you have questions.
Has the life report come
No, we were hoping he'd have it in time for this, and it did not come. So when I get it, I'll share it. Next, I have Department of Fire Prevention, which is page 13 of your packets. And there's some good news in this, in that 12% decrease in fire deaths for the state of Michigan. That's always great to hear. 0% decrease in fires, so we're status quo on that sort of thing. All the other items are pretty much what they typically run. Origin, where the fires happen, reported causes, alarm status, all that is pretty typical. Next, on the fire prevention, was the other page, I'm sorry, page 13, okay. So the monthly report, my fault. Short-term rentals are up, you can see, and then plan reviews are two of the highest categories of where the guys spend the time on. So, I want to let you know about that. Then cost recovery updates. We did include a chart in here for your review. It just shows you what we have captured out of cost recovery and what we have submitted, about half, less than half. We just submitted 3 cost recovery. We're hoping we're going to be recovering that kind of money. So one of them was a big gas leak that was expensive. Blue Star Highway was shut down.
I've got a question. I've heard a rumor. There's a truck in the Shagway in the water. Did you do a cost recovery on that?
Yep. That was a hazmat release in the water.
Was it 15,000?
15,000? No. It's right in
The 5,000, the 5,000 one?
Right. Floating Marine, 5,348. Right. Just the oil booms they made us put up is $1,000.
That
And
makes
those-
sense.
Right.
They said 15,000, I said there's no way.
We could add a 1 on there.
We won't get it.
Yeah, but that was very, very expensive, and we had 2 other calls on top of that.
Yeah.
So, no, sir, it was 5,000, and I'm the one who issued the cost. Figuring he would turn into his insurance company.
You should.
There probably is no insurance.
I don't know.
Maybe that included the electric stuff, cost of the pole and all the rest of that.
I'm sure consumers gave him a huge bill.
Must have been.
Right, I'll bet you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Because they told us that was all billable. The gas leak that you see down here, number 16,
Mm-hmm.
the gas company contacted me personally and said, just want to let you know that's one of our contractors, we're billing them. So you might want to recapture that, because they had to have us stay there to cut down, close down Blue Star Highway.
Yeah.
So, okay. Update, just to confirm, we did get the $21,000 from the grant process for turnout gear. We were awarded the grant subject to approval of another agency, and that came through. Next thing we have that I'm adding on the agenda that's not listed on your agenda is the attenuator truck cab and chassis arrived. Chris and Wendy had that on the screen when we walked in. We were waiting on this. We paid for the cab and chassis. It was built, arrived. There it is up on the screen. It should be delivered to us, completed in December.
It's the only red.
The only red one.
At least they got it right. We were kind of worried about that.
Yeah. Next on the agenda that I want to share with you is Chris and I, for continued education, we will be at the Michigan Fire Inspectors Conference in Soaring Eagle like we do every year. We have to do 20 credits per year, and pretty much the only way to get that done is go to the conference. Good news is, my conference fee of $1,000 is paid for, because I'm speaking there. Actually, so is Chris speaking there.
So my field is covered, or part of it's covered.
Part of it's covered, your hotel room's covered. So that
That's good.
saves money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're winning.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't
Winning's
spend
not
it all
like
at the casino.
Just don't turn in your losses.
I wonder if that's a write-off. So that'll be October 1st through the 4th.
Just remember, Greg, there's not a hotline for winners.
Yeah. I'm terrible at gambling, I don't gamble, so safe there. Next up, this is really notable. We had a very in-depth training last Wednesday, annual EMS CPR AED. We put tourniquets in that, infant CPR, the Lucas, that's that heart pump machine, airway. We have 3 types of airways we do now, and a written test. So we evaluated all this. This is just in the training room. I sent this photo to Hayward to show them our chairs. So this is what was really interesting. Chris and Wendy was the other instructor. They set up 5 stations. The 6th one was up here with a written test. And you'll notice in one of those photos is the life crew. They're on duty. What is really interesting that I think you will like is they volunteer their time to help proctor. Pretty nice. And they were on call. They didn't get called out. They were helping with the airway station. So Laura and Noah.
That's the light crew, was it?
That's
The
one of
green
the,
shirts.
one of the crews.
Yeah, green shirts.
So I thought that was cool.
It is.
We've never had that before. Even if we offered to pay them, it never happened. This was strictly their idea,
Wow.
right?
No, I asked Laura if they would help.
I'm wrong, okay. You asked Laura if she
Yeah,
would
and
do it?
and they willingly volunteered, and we're more than willing to, I said, if you're not on a call, we're having training tonight, you're welcome to
Okay.
come in and join, and if you want to help lead a station, go for it.
Good. I wasn't clear how that all worked out. And they're working on a mannequin that the lungs inflate, so you know if you're doing enough air when you put the oral pharyngeal in, the eye gel. Really neat stuff.
Greg, with that, I know you're waiting for the report, but do you have any initial thoughts on the whole life thing?
Oh, boy.
Like how many, I mean, obviously the call volume is higher than
Yeah,
we
it is.
anticipated.
My impression is that the plan, the model pilot program is outstanding. I think you've got a presence here you never had. As you know, they're from 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 9 at night, they're staged here. They're probably in the back right now. So what you have is more in-depth coverage, and you have nice responses. I mean, we even have 3 calls at one time, and they're covering them all. So it's really worked out well. We share the station with them, as you know. They'll eat lunch with us. They are allowed to stay at the tables, more so than we thought. So I think the level of service has gone from here to here.
Is that every day? 2
2 to 9. Those, that, the data showed that's the high volume type.
I guess my feeling is, I think we're extremely happy on our side, just initially. I'm just hoping that this is something they want to continue.
And at no cost.
Right. Right.
Right. I think it's worked out well from the fact that anytime you work, you know me, I believe in working under one roof, and I believe in communication. We've had some setbacks. And when you have life in here, the communication is so much better. Today, Laura walked in, she's the one in the photo, she said, hey, I need to borrow a radio. Radio that doesn't work for a Halloween thing that we're putting on from life. Yeah, here you go, you can have mine. It's an old VHF radio. You just have a camaraderie that we aren't used to. Nothing against the other guy, but I don't ever remember that happening with the other guy.
Had a long talk with Tony this weekend,
Tony Shippa.
and he was really geeked about this.
He's gotta be walking on air.
Yeah, he is. He said it's so amazing that this is all the stuff that's happening,
And to life
and they're...
credit, and the board's credit, really. I mean, It's remarkable. I never imagined it would be as harmonious and as functional as it is. So I thought you'd appreciate knowing that. And then the last thing I have to share that was added on is the roundabout.
Oh, sorry, I thought this was one.
Second to last.
I-
This is the mysterious underwater hazard. I believe I shared it with the board. Just by way of background, we got an email that was sent to Ryan Cummins, the city manager, and I was copied. I have nothing to do with anybody's beach.
No.
I have nothing to do with it. They got plenty of people that run that. But I was copied that this guy got injured and he wanted a plan. And he wanted to know what we were gonna do about it, when and how. So I drafted a plan. Ryan was in training at MLS, I think. And I crafted a plan, contacted the county, contacted Scott, and we all got together. And the dive team was brought in, a diver, and located it. Scott Herbert, with 4 of his personnel, swam the bottom, holding the breast and mast, trying to find it. They couldn't find it. The dive team found it, marked it, and there was a plan to pull it out that said, let us try a different way. Chris and crew took the fireboat out there, they jetted it with the fire pump, and that went down 4 feet. You can't pull it laterally.
No.
You've got to go up, or they're just going to fracture again. So,
Is this PVC?
Yeah.
Is this something the city put in a long time ago, or?
we put them in and take them out twice a year.
Yeah, so
We-
what was this one?
Broke off,
Oh, okay.
broke off. However, it was beyond the current swim marker, but it varies based on the depth of the water. It can really vary. It's never the same.
And the lake's low.
And who dictates that is Scott Herbert. He tells us where he wants them. And we do the best we can. That's 2190 Ford that replaced the submarine boat.
Okay.
And there's a cradle that Chris built under my suggestion to keep those things in one place. It's a lot of weight, believe it or not. And every year they have to replace a couple of them.
So that buried pipe was that long, or it's a piece of one of those?
That was a
that's-
piece,
that's-
4-foot piece. There's a piece in there.
That's the next picture, sorry.
I took that photo, that was a piece.
What's the original length of
They're, I
these?
think they're the ones you see on the left are how long they are. I think they're 16 feet, and this was about 4.5 roughly that broke off. So,
It is quite a handful to get those. That's why, one of the reasons we have the boom on there, to pull up a person out of the water and to help get those things out of there, because they're full of sand, and you're trying to break that hydraulic suction of that's stuck in the sand, you're trying to get it up. You can almost tip the boat over trying to do it. It's not a
Jet's
favorite
a lot
thing.
faster.
Well, it shouldn't really be our problem, the holes in the bottom of that lake. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things that are there that we have nothing to do with.
I know.
Well, the old filing from the old piers.
Exactly,
That appear and disappear, depending,
yes. and on the
They're
water
back again
level.
this year.
or the rocks do the same, depending on you guys.
Especially down by Douglas Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got that part out of the way, and then the last thing was the roundabout. I'd have to take ownership of this recommendation. So what we've noticed in the roundabout is people aren't slowing down.
No, aren't.
It says 15 miles per hour. I contacted the county and said, I have an idea. I'm gonna run across Daniel, township manager, and it's an educational piece first. Let's put up LED signs up there to show people you're doing 35 and it says 15. Give them 2 months, and then you go in and ticket them. They're there. Daniel pulled it off, because they're not slowing down.
No, they aren't. That'd be a 35 from the city limits north up to about here probably before it gets sped up. The whole stretch needs to be 35.
we've been trying to get 35 or 45, or probably 8 years now. And the state police will not support it.
People aren't slowing down.
In fact, they said it would even go up.
Between the speed and the fact that there are clearly a lot of people who think
They don't have to do,
you just drive into that circle.
Yeah, you don't,
And it doesn't make any difference whether somebody's in it, whether there's somebody who is waiting at the other one who's gonna come, I mean,
yeah, they don't know.
If you're on Blue Star and there's 10 cars behind you, they just fly
Yeah.
through there, even if somebody's waiting on Maple or Allegan or on.
Well, that's what happened to
Or a
Allegan.
yield sign.
Yeah,
What
and
it
they're not
is.
letting you, it should be
There's
like a
huge
four-way
yield signs
stop
right
at
in the
that
center
point
of
when
it.
there's all those
Yeah,
people
yeah.
coming. Yeah.
And I said to Daniel, I said, you know, why don't we try to inform the public, teach them, and then bring in enforcement and say, hey, you're not following the rules, because that's what we see on Blue Star Highway.
Yeah, they think.
They don't
And
even
I
look.
found myself doing 25, yep, it's recorded. I found myself doing 25, 27 miles per hour when it's 15, and you're supposed to slow down, but I think those 15 mile per hour signs are only on Blue Star.
And aren't they, are
Yeah.
they really speed limit signs, or are they
They're
kind of like have
suggestions.
on what? They're suggestions,
They're
so
not enforced.
how can you ticket somebody if it's not a legitimate?
I don't know, because that comes into like the signs over there that were recommendations, I don't know. But I did call Ben Haas after speaking with Daniel, saying this is the purpose of this, whether or not it gets approved, I don't know, but we need to do a better job telling people do's and don'ts. I even asked Daniel to put an ad in the paper, informational, run it for a month.
Maybe they put up a 15 mile per hour ahead, because you don't know that till you're getting there, and you have it slowed down.
No one
So if you're
listens
15
to
miles
it
per hour
anyway.
They don't
ahead, then you
look,
know
they
it's
don't,
going
they're
on.
just flying through
Flying
there
through
like,
it.
no, they get to just go, you know, I mean.
They made it
it's
too small,
bizarre.
you don't have enough approach to it.
There's regulations on Blue Star, and we've tried to get them to look, we figured we could solve a lot of things by slowing down speeders, slowing down the traffic,
Yeah.
and we got nowhere on
I
it.
guess the question is, how many accidents have been there since it opened?
We have never been called.
None.
We're not
And
aware of
it's
any.
probably working.
Yeah.
I mean, even the idiots that are driving
Right.
through it,
Yeah.
right?
It is
Eventually
so much-
they'll learn, because these things are everywhere.
Right.
If you get out of this area, they are.
Yeah, they're everywhere. You can tell people around here, because I've been living in areas where
Yeah.
they're everywhere. And people here, you just,
So I guess the
Like,
point
we
is,
know what they're doing.
we can piss them on all we want about the speed, but it's working.
That would be my assessment, it's working.
It's working great, actually, it's so nice you can, you know,
Yeah.
I mean.
You keep moving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Even-
other than the
Once you
people
get
trying
that
to go
yellow
through.
thing in there, Steve.
I know.
yeah, everybody
I saw
will see
their
it on
truck.
the Stacy statue.
Yeah,
Oh, I
well,
mean,
we're-
That's still in the
It's coming.
cemetery garage.
It's coming.
Maybe those rub strips or those bump strips would help.
Rumble strips, we thought that too.
Mhm.
I still think, why don't people know that's coming up?
I just don't think they know how to use them.
They don't.
I think they could just, it's go.
Oh, the 15 mile, you don't
Everybody-
know it's 15 miles an hour until you get on it. And, you know, then you gotta brake if you, I mean, I know now ahead, and yes, I do go more than 15 miles when I'm approaching it, but then I slow down when I get, by the time I get to the roundabout, which is the whole object, I guess.
Most people think of that roundabout, based on the way they drive, as simply an S turn.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
think about that, is there gonna be cars coming,
Yeah.
you know,
From Old Allegan, yeah.
from Old Allegan
One
either way.
alley
you know,
seems to be working pretty
Or
good.
one coming south that's gonna go to Old Allegan.
Yeah.
That's the one that's gonna be there.
Well, people aren't using their blinkers.
they're not
No,
going,
they're
we
not.
only had it open at the fair.
So just kind of informational.
I was fair was on, so.
I see that.
Through there,
It's
so-
on the flash already. It's good.
Okay, moving on.
Excuse me, did we do the update on, what is it, on the elevator and stuff?
Not
Yeah,
yet.
that's, number 10's
There
next.
yet?
If we're not there
As soon as we get there.
I'm in a different place, I'm sorry, I apologize.
All right,
Oh, I see.
we're on to unfinished business special event fee committee recommendation on fees.
That's on, maybe get the page right this time, page
Yes.
16. Any mistakes in this would be on me. I tried to interpret the special event committee, what their recommendations were, so it's there before you.
Well, maybe I don't, I missed the last meeting, maybe I don't understand. Like, the first one, the Memorial Day Parade, what's that?
So that was always where they go down to,
Yeah, it's
the
the one.
park next to Catherine Simon.
Right.
And we're asked to participate, and we're asked, we provide some blocking, and then we leave and we go to Douglas and do it over at Berry Field.
And who's supposed to pay for that?
No one, because the recommendation was, that's pretty much like a city event. So the
Okay.
recommendation is something like that, like 4th of July.
National
That's just-
holiday stuff.
Well, that was my question. There's events and then there's holidays.
Right, Scott?
The holiday events, we decided that we shouldn't have to charge for those.
Yeah, and I agree.
Right. Right. So that's what we tried to mirror, was, and it would be no 1/3 that was recommended, a great idea, but the committee elected to, whatever the wage plus benefits are, no truck charges, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Some of this we don't, you can see, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just want to share with you also on page 17 and 18 that, you know, kind of a spirit of cooperation, or some of these we don't staff anymore. We're not doing music in the park, we're not doing movie in the park. Some of these were cut out. We reduced costs. For example, let's just take Bald Head Challenge in '23 was $2,700 plus. This year we did it at $1,800 plus. So that's $900 savings. We did get most of these lower. Venetian Boat Parade and Fireworks.
So are we gonna just say this is what it costs, and, or do we say, what if they say, I'm not paying that, we just say, okay, we don't come to your event then, right? That's how it works?
I guess there's two ways to look at that. You can do that. The problem is, if it's decided, and it's in the memo, if it's declared between public safety and we're public safety, that you need to have something blocking. If these communities put pedestrians in the streets without blocking, there's nothing I can do. I will not even be there. I do not want the liability. And whoever makes that decision, they can be responsible for it. So to me, there are some instances where you've got to block it. So there you have to do it. So we put these budgetary numbers in there and say, okay, be prepared not to exceed $2,000. So they know how to fund this for next year.
Okay.
That was the method. And then, you know, they could say, well, we're not requiring, well, we are, because you're using a public street. They don't own the street. So that is kind of the foundation of this fee schedule.
With a drop in the expense on music in the park from 5,300 to 0 is pretty impressive. What did we do for 5,300?
Yeah.
We had to provide blocking and scene security, and I worked with the county to say, we need to change this. How about putting a piece of concrete there that's $58, so you can't drive into a static crowd? And we worked on some things with Scott, with Sergeant Haas, to correct that.
I don't see Oktoberfest on here. Should that be included, or is that? Or did I miss it?
So that's a good question. I got a couple emails on that. We've never been invited to it, to staff it or anything. We've been invited to put up a truck.
And inspect the tent.
Right.
Last year.
So we just did that as a city. For example, we don't charge the city for doing a tent inspection, so we wouldn't charge Douglas. So I looked at all the files. I think last year we went there. I think Chief Kent invited us to come and put the truck up. We certainly wouldn't charge for that, and we can handle that with a duty crew. But there was no scene security, no blocking. It was participation. That answer? Okay.
Okay, Craig, don't
Yeah.
you make barriers where you can fill them with water and just empty the water afterwards?
Yes, they're called Jersey barriers. We brought 8 of them over from Allegan County. They got a grant for them. Submitted those, offered to fill them, developed a plan, and Saugatuck City would not do it. So the Allegan County Sheriff's Office took them back.
Why wouldn't they?
I'm a little confused.
You'd have to talk to the council. They thought it was silly.
I think that's
Doesn't
just-
surprise me.
The county and I worked pretty hard to get them over here, trailer them, load them up, offload them, put one here as a sample.
Because
and-
they're empty, they're probably, 2 guys could pick it up.
Right. You could slide it, we thought it was perfect, and we got laughed at. Okay, so Frank Baker said they're out of there.
Well, I guess my question is, because we do all this stuff and what are the costs of those? I mean, should
Good
we
question.
as a board think about looking into buying some of these, so?
I think that's an excellent idea. There are a number of things, is it okay if I elaborate on? There are a number of things. As you know, we had an ad hoc safety committee. Not getting personal, we were laughed at, it was put in writing, the candy was silly, all that, okay? And that included the Jersey barriers. It included, they have 22 pieces of concrete over there. That's ridiculous, you don't need that. Then we had no choice but to use personal vehicles.
See, in Douglas, I don't believe our insurance will allow us to use personal vehicles. For a couple of reasons. Number one, they're not big enough. Number two, who's liable if something happens to that vehicle? Who's liable if they're not there to move it when it needs to be moved? I mean, it's just too much.
I know, I had a long talk with
Too much
them.
uncertain.
Yeah.
Our insurance company, according to Lisa, is not gonna approve us using those.
Which insurance company?
We just switched to MMI.
Right. Because they allow us. So I don't
Maybe
under...
that's just her
Yeah, I don't know.
assumption, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I was in the conference with them for 4 days, and I said, whoa, I have fire board members, you and you, who else? They did traffic incident. And the other problem is, as long as we're talking about this, if that was the case, they just shut down this fire department. All my paid-on-call are using their cars. And they use their insurance.
Well, that's something we need to clarify.
I did.
But I understand the point about,
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing if you have trained,
Personnel.
fire personnel, but
I-
if you're just asking my neighbor to come and stick her,
Right.
you know.
I agree. This is, we had no choice because Cal Lake wouldn't help us out. The city of Saugatuck will only give us 3 cars. We all know about the police. You get 1 to 3. And it's usually the fire department have dominated it. We had to fill the void. Besides, we've done that. We did run it across MMRMA. So we got conflicting information when this was brought about. Ideally, we don't like POVs because they either leave the car or they don't show up. So I agree with you. But when you're doing 4th of July parade where you have 20 intersections blocked, that's why we said, well, why don't we do it together? Include Douglas, let's do it together. Help you, you help us. But I couldn't get momentum, and I'm one person. What we tried to do, the best thing we could do is put POVs there. And it mirrored using, for the last 23 years I've been here, using personal cars for running calls, traffic control all the time. So that was the problem I had. I know 2 managers that are paid to use their car for business. So I'm very confused at that. So, I don't know, but to me, there were other options. Number one, the concrete barriers. Mike Betts and I even created a map. Right, Mike?
Yep.
4 years ago. Where to stage them downtown Saugatuck, because that's where most of the parades are. And
Well,
we had
how many would you need?
we had that all sorted out.
I guess my point is,
Yeah.
shouldn't we look at these Jersey barriers, see what the cost is? maybe pass that along to some of these events.
I think when you talk about doing, our suggestion was a parade route on just Butler Street. We can control that, you know, say 8 intersections, okay? Well, then, the city countered with, well, we want Water Street and Butler Street. Those, there were Plan A and Plan B. 4th of July parade is, you know, that's a huge, huge area. When we looked at that, we said, perfect, the Jersey barriers, we can offload ourselves, slide them out on a sidewalk, put them in position, we do training out of it, we fire pump up each one, right, Mike?
Yep.
That's how we're doing that.
How much is a Jersey barrier?
I'd say 240, 250.
Or 450.
How many do we need?
Well,
Well, they're 450 each, and then you have to get 2 to lock them together, and that's the list price. You can probably get them on sale.
the county got a grant, they bought them, they were like $240 for each one. But that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about putting advertising on. I can't remember where it
Well-
was. We talked about people buying them and putting advertising on.
We would have a vinyl, you know, okay, Greg and Vicki Janik will donate 1 Jersey barricade. I came up with another idea, we came up with another idea, let's say it that way. It was very frustrating because it wasn't taken seriously. You know, buying the concrete, all you need is a loader, one guy to move those things.
But I think these Jersey barriers are a lot safer than moving concrete.
Yeah.
And your idea of putting Big Coffee, Phil's, spectators,
In a phone.
yeah, exactly. I think it's common sense.
If there is a Kelly.
Sorry, Mike.
No, I think it's great that you talk about it, and I would, like, my recommendation, listening to you, revisit that report that we did with the safety committee 4 or 5 years ago.
It's all in there.
I think we ought to revisit that, and,
In November.
you
And
know.
the school buses, you know, that was an interesting chain of events,
Is that the Labor Day thing?
a lot of things.
I didn't ever get the
Right.
whole story on that one, but.
So, you know, everything is, no one will offer to do it, and, you know, you've got to lead by example. So, we'll give you 3 cars, and I'll have my own Dodge out there, I ain't gonna go through my Dodge, maybe. But what's the difference between my Dodge and a Ford Expedition? These are things that we're like, we shouldn't even have to make those decisions, right, Kathy? And you go to Douglas, there's either a dump truck there, concrete, or a $100,000 loader. You guys have a different style of doing it. Here, it's like, okay, Bridgewalk. Sponsor came to the table with nothing.
Late, very late.
Never had one safety meeting with him. And Scott was having trouble with this. And then what happened is he pulled the permit. Then we had a council member say, I can get 7 people to do it. I have them all lined up, and then Ryan Cummins called me on a Saturday up at the conference, said, would you help us with this? I said, what do you have? I've got 7 personal vehicles, and I said, yep, but I can only do Saugatuck side, because Douglas wouldn't allow it to be open. I said, I'll only do Saugatuck side, and Ryan said, okay, I'll let you know, and they couldn't get it going, so they just pulled it. So we did have resources, but we could not get cooperation with, you know, like we said, this is a school event.
But the school pulled out, and the school didn't, well,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
might not be the place,
Yeah,
but I
right.
think that it was very, very last minute, and things like that take planning, and they can't just be thrown together, and so if they don't meet the proper safety meeting,
Right.
I just think we can't put ourselves in that position to do that.
Amen.
I go back to Eric's thing with this. It seems to me like that would be a reasonable expense to acquire enough of those that can block buffer streets, interstate intersections, whatever down there. And, you know, I think it's a good idea to offer local businesses sponsorship. And once they're available, then I think relative to Saugatuck City's reticence to employ these kinds of techniques and whatever. Then you're able to say, look, we have them, they're available, you guys make the call. It's your city, but they are available from us, no cost or minimal cost or whatever it is for that parade. And I think ideally, you would position that in such a way that they would understand that by turning that offer down, they're fully accepting all responsibility for any crap that goes on, any accident, any death, God only knows what. Yeah. But as I say, I mean, it'd be different if they were like $5,000 a piece, but they're not.
Well, I mean, here we are talking, coming up, buying almost $6,000 worth of chairs.
Yeah, I'd buy those before I'd buy the chairs.
I would too.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, well, maybe we ought to move on and we should go to, you know, there should be some kind of a safety.
You know, to me, we spent a year more in bringing all this up, only to be shut down by some, but they're no longer here, and it's like,
Some of them.
all I know is no one is gonna be able to do this alone. When you talk about city, and Dan was there, Jane was there, we had 25 people, and then you try to protect the public by doing Francis Street, Water Street, Elizabeth Street, Allegan. How do you do that? You should shut down the city for 45 minutes for...
I just say we buy them and tell them this is what you have to use. We don't give a damn this is our requirements to have a parade. You're gonna have 2 of them on the end of every street.
If you don't want
Yeah,
them, you
what
don't have
are
a
they
parade.
calling us?
We're covering our rear ends here.
Okay, I still think we need to move on and this needs to be...
Procedurally, Mike's point is a good one. Recreate,
No, we don't right now.
reboot the
We've done it in a
safety
committee
committee
with
to
a
take
group.
a look at this and
Take a one.
incorporate both those kind of things.
I have a different question though regarding this. So these costs then, according to the motion, would begin in next fiscal year?
That was the
Calendar
recommendation.
year?
Yeah, I put in January, it should be January 1st of 2025. We don't have anything in January, but the fee schedule, this fee schedule would mirror that of, same as the cost recovery, whatever the wages and the benefit packages.
So
So,
for
yeah.
example, the Halloween parade, this $890 would not, wrong, $1,942 would not be assessed this year, but would be...
No, it would be because you are requiring fees. Oh, we would charge for that, yes.
This year?
Yes, yes. This fee schedule would be applicable next year, but you guys require that, we're all for that. So the Halloween parade would be billable.
This year?
Yes, 24.
Okay, but I still don't understand this schedule. Memorial Day, 17:10, Town Prairie, 6:05, Eileen's.
That was all last year.
I don't think this is a schedule. I think this is just average cost.
Okay, so what's the
Yeah,
schedule?
right.
What are we
I guess
voting
That's
on?
true.
I don't understand what we're voting on.
These were the things that the cost was over the 22, 23 year.
Yes.
Okay,
So you would be voting on approval of the fee schedule that is merely wages and benefits. When applicable, that's how the cost would be derived.
And you don't charge for equipment?
No.
That's up to the board. The board told me not to.
And these on here are exceptions to that rule, correct?
But then
Independence
Memorial Day-
Labor Day.
You would, right, you wouldn't charge for, like Scott said, a national holiday.
National holiday. You don't,
Right.
you don't charge for those.
So that's
Well,
well,
what they do.
Memorial Day is not on here.
Yeah, it is.
This is giving the average cost that we billed over the last, or what.
No,
But over here-
On the memo, it's not on.
Memorial Day isn't on there. Or the 4th of July isn't on there.
On the 2020, 22, 23?
On the memo. On
Patriots
the-
Day.
Page 16, in the motion or whatever.
I recommend that we table this
I do
until
too.
next time.
Yeah, I think so too.
I have a motion to table.
Is there an official
table.
list of government holidays? I mean,
I
they
would-
change weekly, don't
I
they?
researched that, and I actually narrowed this down, because I had Juneteenth. There are people actually that have off Juneteenth.
Can I have a
Oh, yeah,
second
we do.
to the motion to table?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by North and a second by Colon to table this to the next meeting. And we need a better list of holidays, or a better idea of what,
Table special event fees.
Well, it's my fault that Memorial Day is not, I trimmed it too much.
I wasn't gonna shoot you, I just, I just want a better list.
Why stop now?
It's okay, Greg, it's all right. I just think
What was
we
the
need
other
a-
one I missed? 4th of July.
4th of
Oh,
July.
it's on, there you got Independence.
I got Independence Day on there,
Oh,
so.
all right.
Patriots Day.
Fourth of July.
All right,
Yes,
okay.
You
All
guys
right.
just did that,
Oh, maybe
right?
we kind of.
9/11?
All those in favor, please say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We need to move on. We're gonna be here in our pajamas.
Yeah.
I can't be.
And you're not gonna wanna be here in your pajamas. Okay, next on the agenda is,
Just an update, Chris was delegated the stairlift elevator, remember we talked about for ADA. Pricing came in, depending upon the load range and all that, around 40,000. However, we have to spend about 20 or 25,000 preparing the site. So we're still working on that. You know, we go back here, because there's a vertical elevator, which is stronger, or one that goes along the stairway. We just wanted to share with you, we did get pricing, but there's a lot of stuff we have to do, provide an opening. We don't know what that costs. So not the best time of the year to be figuring out what it's gonna take to shore up a steel building hole.
so, that was just a report and we can move on?
Yep,
All right, moving on to these chairs.
well, I guess, yeah, the chairs, so let me go to some current things with Hayworth Communication. I've reached out to the Hayworth contact I had from 2013. As you know, the tables are from Hayworth.
Yes.
And explained we are looking for 40 chairs. Here's the budget. This is different. Okay, the budget was 5,000 for conference room chairs. The chairs in this are for the fire board and for the staff. They would use them at the same time, use the same chair. So, Hayworth came back with, we have a lot of chairs at our resale shop and all that, and they would check for me. And you'll see what they came back with. Fiberglass chairs, photos right there.
Stackable fold.
Stackable chairs, which are fiberglass, which you might as well keep what you have, because sitting that for 7 hours is not gonna work.
Okay.
And they're $44 a piece, those chairs. So I kindly declined, said, I'm sorry, this is not what we're looking for. We'll might as well keep what we have. And they said, what'd you have in mind? I said, wheels, nesting, or stackable. And they gotta have arms, there's gotta be a comfort level, nothing hard seated. If you can't make something like that, we understand. So that was correspondence between yesterday and today. And then I got another email back from my point of contact, that they're gonna go through a dealer, and that they will look into seeing what's available and then give us a price. These chairs in this particular request are the ones we spoke about last time. We can't touch those chairs anywhere else with everything we looked at. You get back to the conference room chairs, they had other chairs, but there was 10 of this color, 12 of that color, and 30 of this color. And I don't think we're gonna go that route. But the conference room chairs versus this memo is requested for fireboard/personnel chairs. But you wanna table this until you sort out the whole Jersey barrier thing, that's your prerogative. I have no problem with that.
I'll take a motion to table this. I think
Yeah.
the cart is ahead of the horse here.
I'll make a motion to table.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That is also tabled. Okay. New business. Looks like we're gonna go into, we are gonna motion to go into closed session to discuss the collective bargaining agreement with the attorney.
Make a motion to go into closed session to discuss collective bargaining agreement.
There's a motion,
I'll second.
there's a motion that you should probably use.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's under A1.
You're on the wrong page.
Oh, no wonder, I'm not going to show it.
See that?
Oh, okay. I'll make a motion to approve or deny authorizing fire district staff to purchase that's the chairs.
I'll do the motion.
I don't
The motion is, closed session to discuss strategy related to the opening negotiation of the collective bargaining agreement with the Saugatuck Area Professional Firefighters Union Local 5291 pursuant to MCL 15.2681C, being Section 8(1)C of the Open Meetings Act.
I'll second.
All right. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Verplank,
Yes.
Holland,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Peckham,
Yes.
Phelps,
Yes.
North.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved, turn off the cameras. Okay.
Cameras, tapes.
Can you hand me?
I was gonna steal it.
It leaves an ink. All right, now, do we have to take another motion, to go back into open session?
I think so, don't we?
Enter it into close,
No?
and then,
Okay, we're back in open session. I'll take a motion.
I will make a motion to appoint, do I need to say specifically,
Yeah.
Dan Fox and Jane Verplank as board members to the committee of the negotiating committee to be a liaison to the board.
I'll second that.
Read it again, Dan.
Derek?
Read it again, Chris got it, Chris got it, right?
Motion by Beckman, second by Pullen to appoint Dan Fox and Jake Verplank to the negotiating committee with, I think you said local 5291, didn't you? Or,
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
No, but that's what should be put in there.
To act as board liaison
Oh, yes,
Board
board
liaison.
yeah, sorry.
to the committee. Okay, we good with that, everybody? Discussion? Okay. And we'll have a roll call vote.
Okay. Peckham,
Yeah.
Holland,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Verplank,
Yes.
Phelps,
Yes.
North.
Yes.
Okay. You want to talk about your commercial record?
I sent this out, just was really a nice letter as a result of a call we did in Douglas, and Officer Brown was there as well, from Douglas PD. And, yeah, it was nice to see that somebody put something in the paper to let people know. They did a good job. Pretty pretty hard thing to see.
All right, we'll do roundtable, Stacy,
Oh, I have nothing else.
Eric.
No, but I think we should look into the Jersey
Oh,
maybe next month.
yeah.
We'll put it on the
Get
agenda.
information on,
All that stuff has to go back on the agenda because it was tabled, so it's tabled to the next meeting.
Dan?
The only thing I have is, I hope next year that the fireboat is better taken care of. 'Cause it looks bad.
The, big one,
And a lot of it gets scrubbed down on the sides and stuff, but it hasn't been taken care of as far as I'm concerned.
so we're having trouble with that. Matter of fact, I want the paint removed on the side.
The
That was
sides
on the
are
bottom.
Oh,
And the problem is, the water splashes up on there and
Spots.
the scum gets, and I think it was 2 years ago, I even hauled it out mid-season because of that, which was $600 to clean it. There's really not a whole lot we can do about that unless we have some boat to work off to scrub it. But I agree with you, I don't like it either. Again, we wanted to remove the paint. I got my first estimate today to remove the paint, it was 15 to 25,000.
What?
Wow.
To sandblast it?
We're getting another, well, chemically, they would do it, chemically, and then they would sand it off. Just the first estimate. We've got another one coming in from Extreme. It surpassed my expectations.
Oh, yeah, that's way.
So if you just have mill finish paint, like we did with the decks, we removed all the paint off the decks. I didn't paint it, the guy before me painted it. It was a big mistake. So I wanted to get the paint off and take it back to its original state, because I don't have to maintain that. We raised the water line up further,
Yeah.
like I just did with my own personal boat. Raise it up, so when the water splashes up, you don't have that yellow, you're talking the yellow band.
Mhm.
I agree, it's got drives me nuts.
Sure, what was I gonna say?
can't we use the other boat with a power washer, or isn't there a pump on the other boat that we can?
The only
Just
way,
straight power washer.
the only way really to get that off is what? Muriatic acid.
Yes.
Yes.
If I did that next to retro boats,
You wanna go back to just be aluminum, the aluminum color?
above the water line to the rub rail, mill finish. And then we would raise the water line so that scum doesn't show. I did that on my
Yeah.
own boat
We did
last
that-
year.
We did that with our.
It was a
state.
national debt,
Yep.
but I don't have to see that scum line. Boot stripes are overrated. That boat has no boot stripe. But you get black and then a yellow band and then the red. I agree, it looks terrible.
Okay. That's it.
I think it's your vision.
Well, it depends what time of day.
Well, let the record show I agree with you. It looks-
It depends what time of day it is. They going in or coming out?
Yeah.
oh my God.
I was just wondering how we're doing on meetings at the township hall.
I think we've decided not to do that.
No, I thought last time he was working on it.
We were, there's just some pros and cons with it, Taru. Mainly the audio visual.
What do you mean?
Doesn't work with our equipment.
Oh, they don't have that?
They do, but it's not the same.
It's not compatible with ours.
So we have to get another computer to do it, okay? That's another computer we have to monitor.
Okay.
So it wasn't as easy as let's just go down there.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
it's cheaper than a $40,000 elevator.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah.
So it was just kind of like, they've been very inviting and asked us, so it was just a matter of, it's up to you guys, not up to me. If you want to go there, we'll go there. So,
Well, I would like to, of course, but I don't know what they'll do about it. Why don't you give us a cost for the next meeting on your computer so we can kind of go from there? How much it would...
well, we know what it is. We could, it's usually about $1,100 per computer. And then the monitoring is usually $30 to $45 a month to monitor it.
Okay, Kathy?
I have a couple things. First of all, I was held our first 9/11 remembrance ceremony on Wednesday, and want to thank the fire board for participating, and Deputy Chief Mantles, and what's Chris's title?
Chris Bernhardt.
I know, what's his?
Oh, Captain.
Captain Bernhardy for speaking, did a really nice job. We hope to make this a regular event, but it was very nice, and we're glad for your participation. And then tonight at 7 o'clock, we're going to have a Good Samaritan celebration for the 6 individuals that helped pull the gentleman out of the water last month. So we've been waiting till the investigation was complete, so tonight's the first night that we could get that done.
Good.
Thank
That's
you.
nice.
So you're doing it at your meeting
Yeah.
tonight? Okay.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
We have another public meeting, or public comment period.
Oh, anybody want to comment? You, Ms. Beth?
Hello, Joe, thank you.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Do it.
Second.
All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Okay, so.
So,